Today we're going to take a look at the modern appliances that I have in my house. We'll call these the best of the worst. Took me a long time to figure out which ones to get, and a lot of deliberation because pretty much everything made today stinks. These appliances, the stove, the exhaust fan, the refrigerator, the dishwasher, the washer, and the dryer, were what I would say probably the best ones available today that are reasonable. Meaning not outrageously expensive, not cluttered with electronic junk that's confusing, complicated, and it's unnecessary, and works reasonably well. Of course, I would prefer to have vintage appliances, and when I find them and these break, I'll replace them. But when I bought the house, it didn't come with anything except a dishwasher. My hope was that I would find the house that has existing stuff that works. Whether or not it's what I want didn't really matter because I could use it until I found what I want. I mean, the ideal case would be it came with what I want, but that wasn't going to happen. Unfortunately, in this case, it came with nothing. So I needed to get appliances, and I needed to get them fairly quickly. I scoured Craigslist, OfferUp, LetGo, Facebook, Marketplace, local salvage stores for 3 months between the time it was contingent on the house and the time it closed, and I could not find any matching set of kitchen appliances. I couldn't even find one stove or refrigerator that I really wanted. It was a joke, nothing. And I've continued to look since then. It's been almost a year and I still have not found anything. That's why I said, okay, it's going to have to deal with it this way, because in this part of the country, for whatever reason, people don't keep things, and there's nothing. So I would like to find an avocado stove and an avocado refrigerator and an avocado dishwasher, but that's really going to be a stretch. The stove and the refrigerator I should be able to find. It's just going to take a long time. Anyway, so this is the stove that I ended up with. The stove, I did not want anything electronic because it's confusing, and it takes a long time to make the adjustments. Like my mother has a stove which is a fully electronic controlled, and the amount of strokes you have to make to just turn on the oven or to adjust the temperature or something is absurd. This at least is simple. You just turn the dials and you get what you want. Now, unfortunately, a moron designed this control set, and there's two things about it that are just completely absurd. Number one is the oven light. You press it down to shut it on. Okay, see, it's on now. And then you press it up to shut it off. And it's just like, seriously? The other problem is with the stovetop controls for the burners. You turn it to the left for more heat. The oven, you turn to the right for more heat. So it's backwards. Well, one of them is backwards depending on what your preference is, but they should be the same. It should be consistent, and it's not. So that's incredibly stupid. Now, I hardly ever use the oven because I don't like baking, so it's not really a big deal to me, but it's like, what on earth? Overall, the stove is fine. The burners, they're easy to replace when they break. You just take them out, put them back in, easy. It's got this stuff, sounds like a telephone. That's not ideal, but otherwise it's fine. It's a nice basic stove. The oven, it works fine. the pans draw. And really nothing wrong with the oven, with the stove, other than the dials, which is just dumb. Next we have the stove exhaust fan, or the range, or whatever it's called. This is a Braun model, and this is a basic model. I was very happy to find this still in production. This is pretty much the same as it's been for the last several decades. You just have the basic light, has an incandescent bulb in there, the fan with the 2-speed shaded pole motor. You know, it's all serviceable. You can repair all these components real easy. Even the switches, they just pop right out. You know, great basic piece of equipment. Yeah, the fan's louder than it should be and all this stuff, but that's how it always was. These have always been like that. So this range is completely satisfactory to me. Now we move on to the refrigerator. The refrigerator, I wanted 3 things. I wanted the R134 refrigerant, I wanted mechanical controls, and the incandescent light bulb. I could find models with all 3 of those features, but I could not find any that have all of those 3 features together. So I figured the most important thing is the light, because every time you use the refrigerator, you open it, you interface with it, you're using the light, and if the light is an ugly color or it's not bright enough or something, it would be an annoyance every day. So the light has to be correct. Unfortunately, I had to give up the refrigerant and the control set to have a decent light. The controls I didn't think was a big deal because it's a set and forget. It's not like you interface with the controls ever in the fridge. And the refrigerant, I mean, I don't like the concept of pretty much LPG getting compressed to high pressures and temperatures in the house all the time, but does it really affect the way you use the refrigerator? Not at all. So whatever. In fact, I was surprised. It's quite low pressure, in fact, which is interesting. But anyways, the fridge has given me some trouble. And here we go with the electronic controls. I find that one setting is a little bit too cold because you'll get a thin layer of ice on the top of stuff. Vegetables will freeze sometimes. But then the setting lower than that, which is not as cold, the drinks aren't cold enough. So the problem is that each notch on the control set is probably 2 or 3 degrees. Plus you've got a swing of maybe 2 or 3 degrees. So you could be looking at a 7 or 8 degree temperature change per setting, which is outrageous. You know, if you had a basic dial, you could make a very precise change and not have this issue. But yeah, so I think what I did was I left it on a slightly warmer setting and I just put all the drinks in the back. Like the soda, I just keep all the way in the back, and you know, it's fine. But there's the light, the incandescent light bulb. Fits in there just barely, but it does fit. And here's our electronic controls. Yeah, see the recommended one? It freezes the drinks. It's too cold. So that's that. A freezer, you know, basic freezer. This fridge is also very traditional. It's pretty much the same way they've been for decades. I haven't opened up the back or anything to clean it yet. We're probably getting up, you know, when it hits about a year, I'll probably do that when we're getting near that point in time. It's a Whirlpool, which 20 years ago meant something that would last a lifetime. Nowadays, I don't know. I don't think so. I'll be very surprised if any of this stuff is still running in 5 years from now. So this is the dishwasher. This is a Bosch dishwasher. And other than the excessive time it takes to clean, it takes almost 3 hours just for the basic cycle. I'm quite happy with this thing. The dishes come out clean. I put some really filthy stuff in there before, and it comes out clean. The control set is nice. It looks like something out of the 90s. It's very simple. It is electronic, but it's simple. It's easy to use. It's on the front, and that stupid stuff where it's on the top and you can't see what it's doing while it's running, which is so dumb. No, it's perfectly good. It's slow, but you know, and it's got stinking ads all over the inside of it, which is unnecessary. But yeah, had nothing wrong with it. Works fine. Now let's go take a look downstairs at the clothes machines. And these clothes machines are the Maytag branded, which I believe is made by the Whirlpool now. I have no idea who made the stove. GE, of course, is just a name. It's long gone any kind of actual products coming from them. So these are the clothes washer and the clothes dryer. I did a video on the washing machine already, showing a cycle as requested. This is, I believe these are the Centennial series, something like that. It came with all this stuff. I just haven't bothered to take that off. It's got a 10-year parts warranty, which is very impressive. I'll be very surprised if this is still running in 10 years from now. Maybe it will be, who knows. Sometimes things are surprising. So, with this, I wanted something that you could fill it up all the way. Because a lot of the ones today, they don't fill up all the way and it doesn't wash the clothes that good. This one, you can fill it up all the way, and you can even make it do it twice. So this is great. It uses a lot of water. This, I think, is a joke. I mean, all these settings, I've used the different ones, and I can't fathom what the difference is. I think they all do the same thing. The water temperature is simple. So even though this is electronics, it's simple. In fact, I pretty much never, I always just leave it on bulky sheets because it just doesn't seem to make any difference. And the only thing I do is I just change this from warm to hot depending on what I'm washing. That's pretty much it. So this is very easy to use. It does have some annoying things like this stupid lid lock thing, which I just unscrew and I just leave it in there because it's dumb. The agitation doesn't make any sense to me because it'll go like 1.5 rotations in one direction, and then it goes 1.5 rotations the opposite direction, and just keeps doing that. And so the clothes don't turn over very well if you put a lot of stuff in there. So you got to be conservative on how much you put in. And like the dishwasher, I find that this just takes a really long time compared to a vintage machine. There's some informations. The dryer is there's really nothing wrong with the dryer, actually. This is a basic mechanical control still. Mechanical. That feels like a regular mechanical switch to me. The only thing I think that is electronic, this is mechanical, this is electronic, but that's just the sound, which is the old buzzer sound. It's not some stupid beep. So this too is pretty simple, easy to use. I suspect that timer could be replaced fairly easily if it broke. The inside of it is pretty conventional, basic light bulb, easy to replace. Filter. So it too is a pretty traditional design, and despite not making a lot of sense, the washer works fine. I've put some really filthy clothes in there and towels and whatever, and they come out just fine. So no, I don't really have any complaints with these either, other than the speed. So that's it for the modern appliances. I'll do separate videos of these if people want. I know they've been asked to show the clothes machines here, so I'll do that. The stove obviously makes a lot of appearances in cooking videos. Yeah, this is the dishwasher that came with the house. It is a General Electric, so again, I don't know who actually makes it, but it's a pot scrubber, and it somehow still works. So I will keep that, and I will use that for cleaning fans and other stuff like that I wouldn't put in the food one. And I'll keep using the rest of these other modern appliances until something starts to go wrong and I can find a vintage one to replace it.